What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Today I'm introducing a new exclusive color from TinyBot. This is called Dragon Fruit, and this is based off of the iconic Lamborghini Diablo SE30. I'll put a picture there so you guys have some relation to what the car looks like versus what this color looks like. It's pretty accurate, I would say. I'm also going to run through, so I'm going to do a full installation on the hood of this car right here, and I'm going to run through reasons why and issues why your edges might lift up either during installation or shortly after, or even some days later. Because this is a big question on failure, and this is a big question to answer about failure on your wrap, and this is the most common thing to happen, obviously. Edges lifting is probably the #1 factor when it comes to failure on a wrap. And there are many variables, but we'll get into that in a moment. If you guys are looking for 4K how to vinyl wrap videos, more in detail, check out my website, ckwraps.com. The link is in the top corner and the description below for you. Now let's get into this. I'll put a link for TinyBot in the description below as well, so feel free to browse their website and check out their products. This is the color up close and in person, just to show you. Get the camera to focus just to make sure. Shift that around a little bit. So darker, lighter, certain angles, you notice some differences there. Has good gloss to it, and it comes with a hard protective cap sheet, which is great for shipping or storage purposes. This way you don't get any rack rash on the surface of your film, on the gloss finish. You want that to come out as pure as possible. Now, I just threw that away. Now, preparation, as far as failure goes, is one of the ultimate things that you can do, okay? Obviously, there's technique involved with installation, but preparation is a huge factor in playing a role in how your wrap lasts or looks overall in the end. If you do not wipe your edges and your recessed areas, especially with isopropyl alcohol, 70% is what I use. I've been using this for 10 to 12 years. We've used it with every brand of material and every product possible in the industry over the past 10 to 12 years. So I stick with that because I know it works. If you want to use other products, by all means, go ahead, but I just know that that works. You can get isopropyl alcohol pre-mixed already at 70%. I buy 99. I dilute it about 30%. This way I get more yield out of a 5-gallon container and so forth. But you can buy it at 70% already. Easy to pick up at any pharmacy and so forth. Now, preparation is key. So I wipe all my edges. I've already wiped this panel down. I wipe the surface. I also wash the car using dish soap. Dish soap is great because it removes a lot of contaminants. Think about what it does to your dishes, okay? Or what it does for dishes, is that it strips off grease, contamination, that sort of stuff. It's good at doing that. You don't need a fancy soap. You do not want a wax-based soap. You want a basic soap, very, very basic. You know, I buy a gallon of dish soap and it's almost 4 liters of dish soap for like $8 or $9 Canadian. So it's not very expensive. It lasts you a long time. Don't get into the fancy stuff. You really don't need it. So using that in combination, and now I don't wash under the edges, under the hood with dish soap. If I can do the wheel well areas and stuff like that and under the bumper, yes, of course, like certain areas that I can reach with the sponge, that makes sense without opening the car up and washing it. Yes, that makes sense. But otherwise, I go over the edges anyways with the 70% isopropyl alcohol. But I also go over the surface of the panel with isopropyl alcohol. This is, again, very important. So preparation is key. I also, in order to eliminate contamination like debris, particles, loose particles, dust, dirt, hair follicles, things that might just happen, I use compressed air as well. And I've already blown off the surface with compressed air. It has been sitting here for maybe 15 minutes. I don't think anything has fallen on the surface, but it's always good to be thorough. This way you don't get any other contamination under the surface of the film. Not that dust really or debris is really going to cause failure of the film, but it's going to cause the film to not come out looking its best. And you want it to look its best. You want the surface to be as smooth as possible. Now there are this is a Jaguar, and there are a ton of factory imperfections in this hood. I see little specks in the clear coat all over the place. Just is what it is. Brand new car. I'm the original owner of this, so just so you know. And it has been basically inside the entire time that I've had this car over the past 4 years. So it's actually going to be wrapping it fully and then giving it to my in-laws, but we'll get into that later. So let's get into this product here and the installation. Now they've gone through preparation. We're going to get into the actual installation of the film. I'll go over the hood one more time with compressed air just to make sure there's not really any loose particles or contaminants. Not that I think that there is. I'll turn the volume down just quickly for this. Good. Once we do that, we want to lay our film out swiftly. You don't want to take too long between laying the film out and having cleaned the surface off. So we want to get this panel down on the hood as soon as we can. I'll move the camera around for you guys so you can see more. Just going to get this into place. Now, I can't use magnets on this car here unless it's the doors because everything is either aluminum or plastic. The doors are steel. You can do this with 2 people. I prefer doing this solo, to be honest. I find that the chances of getting contamination under the wrap are much lower when I do it like this. You can follow this exact example. Now, what I'm doing, since I can't use magnets, is I'm peeling up this corner right over here, and I'm just going to get the film more or less into the line that I want it, and then I stick that down, smush it down to the fender. I can squish that. It doesn't have to look pretty over on that side there because we're cutting it off. It's just extra. And we always want to anchor the film to the exterior side, so the exterior panels. We don't want to anchor it to the center or the hood itself. We want to anchor it to the actual exterior panels. Okay, now you may have seen other professionals cut this area away right now. I highly do not recommend doing that. You can cut away the front section, but I do not recommend cutting away that top section there, especially with a paper release liner, okay? So this has a paper release liner. This is not a PET liner. A PET liner would be plastic. This is paper. And if your blade doesn't 100% cut this 100% perfectly, you're going to get paper particles underneath your wrap. We call this more or less dusting in the industry. And this is a huge culprit for contamination underneath your wrap. Again, not that it's going to cause it to fail, but it's going to make it not look its best. So I recommend cutting this area away after you peel off the release liner. We can, however, cut away the front section here, some of this, because we have too much. We have about 8 to 10 inches here. That's just too much film. I like to cut this straight across. You'll see others curve it. I like to go straight across. I like to keep symmetry to the shape of the actual the film itself. We're going to leave ourselves 4 or 5 inches at the front so we have enough to hold on to. And again, we can cut this area away because particles will come off this end as we remove the liner from the top corners towards the front of the car. If we cut the top section, we're going to pull the cut edge of the film underneath the wrap, and this is where you're going to more than likely get dusting underneath your film. You can keep that piece if you want to. That'd be great for door handles, some inlays, stuff like that. I just put it on the floor right now, it doesn't matter. Now we have a cap sheet. You can remove the cap sheet now, or you can remove it after, but it does have to be removed on this film because it is not a stretchable or pliable or an installable cap sheet, meaning it does have to come off because it is rigid. I recommend peeling it off. Doesn't matter, I just choose whatever one I want. If you peel the liner off first, what's going to happen is the cap sheet will actually keep the film more rigid and more straight, so you'll have less issue removing the liner. So let's do it that way. Let's remove the liner first, and then we'll remove the cap sheet. Let's keep the liner rolling. We don't want to tear this. If you tear it, you're going to get debris underneath your wrap because you'll get paper particles. So once I get that rolled out far enough, I anchor that corner back down there, and I want to keep the film flat here. By flat, you can see that I'm keeping my left hand over here, and I'm keeping the film elevated at this corner here, and we're trying to keep this rolling really, really nicely and really, really smooth. I have not applied anything to the surface, whether it's like a tack reducer or anything along those lines. We're just doing this raw because I don't really need it. But you can apply products underneath the film to make the film less sticky on the surface. This is applying a tack reducer to the surface of the hood, is beneficial if you're like more beginner and you don't have a pressure sensitive film, which like 98% of materials on the market are not pressure sensitive. Then applying a tack reducer to the hood is ideal because it will allow you to lift and reposition the film a lot more easily. It will also allow you to squeegee the air a lot more freely. I have videos on this on my website on how all that works. Let's go over here. Let's cut this section away now. Now we can do this. The reason why we want to, actually I'll explain this better. Let's pull the film tight and I'm gonna show you why you wanna cut that section away now. So I'll lift this edge up. Actually, let's remove the cap sheet. I almost forgot. Let's peel that off. Okay. Why do you want to remove this? Look, does not stretch at all. At all, okay? With heat, you're just gonna melt a hole in it, so it does need to come off. There's no point in even leaving it on for like the middle flat section. Just take it off. If you wanna do a door with it on, maybe you can do that, but like there aren't many areas of a vehicle that are actually truly flat. Okay, let's lift the film up and let's get it glassed out a bit. So we're gonna pull this slightly tight and eliminate a lot of these wrinkles. Okay, we're gonna come up, flip it up like a bed sheet, find a good position, good angle, come down nice and tight, just like so. And normally this film is a little bit more pliable. So what happens here is this is touching the window and it's causing a pocket or slash bubble up in this area over here. Let's move the camera so we can get a better view of what's happening here. Just gonna slide it over here and tilt it. Apologize for the jitteriness. I'm gonna try not to cut any of the scenes out here. I just want it to be as raw of a video as possible so you can get every detail out of this. Okay, so the film is touching the window up here. It's a good idea to cut it away before you even pull it tight, as I did there. Find the edge of your hood. Okay, there it is right here. I wanna leave myself a couple of inches. I don't want to cut the wiper blades, so we're not going to dig in too deep there. We're going to keep the film slightly elevated, and we just need it to come off around in a U shape like this. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Make sure you know where your edge is. Good. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, let's lift the film up again. So what is happening here right now in the middle is that, is my camera crooked? Let me make sure it's straighter than that. It looks a little bit lopsided. There we go. I think that's better. Okay, so what's going on here is that the film is beginning to bond to the surface. So the adhesive is beginning to settle on the surface. It's beginning to bond more or less. You're gonna have an issue with letting this sit here for a period of time like I have. Depending on how warm it is in your workspace or your work environment, the warmer, the faster it's going to set. So this is where you're gonna have trouble if you don't work fast enough. So what I need to do, even for myself, because I've been talking and we've been doing this going thoroughly, slowly, we're going to lift this up again and reposition it and elevate this area and then squeegee it out almost immediately because this is the high point right here. So lift this up. I also have to flatten this side out anyways. So, go up a little bit higher. There we go. Okay, find that nice flat section. Find balance. Okay, cool. I'm good with this. Well, what I want to do now is I want to start squeegeeing the film and getting this air out of here almost right away. If I get air trapped again, what I'm going to do is lift it again. I'm trying to get the air out towards the body line right over here. Don't leave anything behind. I have a big wrinkle up the top there. That's okay. We're going to open it up. There we go. There's a far reach on this car. You'll find that on SUVs. Okay, I have a bubble right here still. So I have a few. It's trapped. We're going to lift up this side over here. Just up to this section right there. There we go. Place that down again, nice and tight. And then, oops, grab my triangle accidentally. Immediately squeegee this area. So that doesn't happen. I will more than likely have to do the same to the other side. I'm not worried about this section here because we have wrinkles running across the front of the hood. Those need to be pulled downwards. So I do need to lift just to get this bubble out right there. You can put your hand under the film as long as you didn't have some KFC or fried chicken or something along those lines and your fingers are not greasy, you can do that. Or dirty, because dirt will add contamination or just debris underneath. Okay, so that center section is squeegeed down. Now I had PPF on this hood clear and it left a little bit of glue behind, so there's a couple little specks here and there you might notice. I should have clay barred it, I haven't, because I'm going to be wrapping the whole car in a different color, but haven't clay barred it yet. So we're gonna pop this up right here. Okay, you'll notice that I'm not applying any heat. I don't need to. The film stretches enough for me to be able to pull it down as far as I need to. And by cold stretching it the way I did, I'm way less likely to leave like adhesive lines, glue lines. I'm also way less likely, or less than likely, to even have any tension on my edge right here. Now I will most likely need to add some heat, but we'll see how this goes, okay? So I'm gonna lift up this corner here. We have to get rid of what's happening over here. If you can avoid a heat gun, great. So we're gonna pull. I'm expanding the film left and right. I'm adding a lot of force, like my body weight. And again, this is just cold stretching, guys. I'm not doing anything crazy here. Like adding heat gun, I should have no tension at my edge. Tension at your edge is a massive culprit for failure. Tension, I should be more specific, tension beyond the edge, okay? And tension beyond the edge requires more than cold stretching in most cases, because these films are not going to allow you. This is a polymeric film. So it's not going to allow you to stretch or to overstretch it without adding any heat. Heat is what's going to cause you or allow you to overstretch the film. And that's the same in many situations with almost any brand of film on the market. Heat will allow you to stretch further, more easily. And then you end up stretching not to the edge of the hood, but you end up stretching past the edge of the hood or edge of a panel. And that causes the film to fail. It's going to cause it to pull back because there's going to be tension that leads past that edge. Let's fix up over here. Okay. Okay, we're going to come around this corner right here. I'm just going to take, again, I'm doing all this cold, so I'm not even trying. This is like whatever. I have one wrinkle right up there. Get up. There we go. Okay, hands apart. Again, cold stretching. If I have extra material at my edges, I'm gonna heat and shrink it. That's the beauty of polymeric films. You can just heat and shrink them. I'm gonna pull up to this corner here. Again, cold stretch. Glass everything out nice and flat. Okay, we're gonna hit the high point, which is right here. This is where it's gonna start trapping air because that's where the film is sitting mostly. Okay, so I'm looking at the line. I'm trying to follow my line with the squeegee. Good. Okay, when it comes to doing the sides here, I'm going to show you two options. I'm going to show you a laying in approach on this car, at least. It's not all cars will need this. Like an Audi hood's not going to need you to do this. And then I'll show you a stretching in approach. So this side I'll show a laying in approach. Sorry, a stretching in approach, and the other side I'll show you a laying in approach. Let's get the camera moved over a bit more so you can see a bit more what's going on over here. So I'm trying to carry this huge camera crane thing. There we go. Sorry about the wobbliness. Okay. Now what's going to happen here? Let's get that's my triangle again. Let's just toss that for a second. It's in my pouch and in my way. So here we have a big pocket, okay? We are going to stretch into this pocket. I should also do the middle section over here first, to be honest. Almost forgot. So we're gonna do the middle section through here first. Now, this is not a very deep recess. I can probably stretch it in there without even heating it. Let me angle the camera more. It bothers me when things are not perfect. Not perfectly lined up. Okay, that's better. So what I can do here is I'm gonna heat it. Is that even warm? Yeah, that's warm, okay. A lot of times you'll see the film change as it is in the front right here. This is the film shrinking, okay? So we only heat it until it moves, gets wrinkled, and then goes flat again, okay? Once that happens, you move away from that area. Pre-shrinking the film is key to having no tension in a recess or at an edge and so forth, okay? So that's more or less good. It's pre-shrunk. We're gonna squeegee off those pointy wrinkles right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the deepest part of the recess right now with the palm of my hands and go right in there while the film is warm. It's not hot. Good. Now we're going to take the rest and squeegee up this air right out to the top. You can use a little bit of like detail spray, especially on a gloss film. It's just something there that's from it's just glue left over from the PPF. I was trying a sample of some PPF from someone else and it ended up leaving a ton of glue behind and I haven't cleaned it all off yet. Anyways, regardless of that, squeegee up. You can use a little bit of detail spray to help the glide of your buffer, just to your buffer glide a lot better. Okay, so right there was an example of heating and stretching in. If I have a little bubble at the end here, some of you might have noticed that. Since it's right at the end here, super easy, just pop that up, okay? Squeegee it out. Okay? Don't sit there and try and push and wait forever for it to push out. Just lift it up slightly and push it out. Now this is a deeper recess over here. So there's gonna be a bit more force required to stretch the film into it. And again, you're gonna see it shift, it's all gonna move. There we go. How hot is my heat gun? Well, this is rated at 1,000 degrees from 2 inches away. So it doesn't take long for the film to heat up. I'm roughly 2 to 3 inches away when I'm warming it. Okay, I have all these pointy ones right here, so I'm going to knock those out right there. Done. And then we're gonna go into the deepest part of the recess. And yes, there is gonna be tension in the recess, but not so much where the film is gonna fail. But there's always a possibility that when you have tension in any recess or at any edge, it is possible the film could fail. Back here, I'm just gonna lift it up and lay the rest in because it's super easy to do that since I'm so close to the edge of the hood. And I can just lay the rest in without any issue here. Nice, okay? Let's go to the other side. The other side is just chilling over there. Let's move over here. Get the camera angled better. And probably zoom back slightly. Oops, it's forward. There. Okay, so get you a bit closer in this situation here. Let's do it. All right. You'll be able to see better on how I pull a film. On this side, I'm going to lay into this recess here. That's in here, I'm not gonna lay into that, it doesn't matter. Here would be the area where you'd be more likely to want to maybe lay into it because there is a bit more tension here than there is there in that recess. Lift this up. It's been sitting for a while, right? Okay, there we go, snap that up. I wanna get that one wrinkled out right there. Perfect. Okay, keep the film elevated. You can see I always keep the film elevated. There we go. I'm gonna grab my hands over top, roll my fingers into it. And again, we're cold stretching. It is totally unlikely to have any tension at the edge because I still have the ability to shrink the film afterwards. Okay, so we're expanded left and right there. Let's lock that edge in right here. And this is also the flat spot where it's touching mostly. Let's go right over here. Pull these wrinkles down. We're pulling them, remember, the opposite direction. Okay? All right, let's squeegee out the flat section right here towards the air pocket. Okay, we have this little bit right here to do. There we go, let's even that out. Let's let that film sit. Now watch what happens here. So right here, that little wrinkle right there, you can pull that down cold, it's no problem. Or instead of pulling it down cold, you can see that, is it on camera? Sort of, let's move it a bit more over. There we go. So right here, so instead of pulling this down, I'm just gonna elevate the film. Actually, I've got a little bit of air left at the edge here. Squeegee that out, there we go. I'm gonna elevate the film and just heat the film, watch. It's gone, okay? It just shrunk itself down because the film has the ability to shrink. And that's not really anything to do with stretching it. That's just what the film does when you heat it properly. Okay, let's finish up the rest here. Gotta make this a little bit nicer right up here. So I can lift from this corner, good. I can pop that up right there, perfect. I can pull right back to this corner here, trying to keep everything nice and flat, okay? Okay, let's pull a little bit harder, a bit more body weight. There we go. Okay, stick that to the fender. I'm gonna hold that up just like that. There we go. And then let's squeegee out our high point again. What I need to do here actually is just keep this elevated. And get this locked in. This will make it stay. Perfect. Okay, so I'm trying to find my line. Let's bring that a bit closer. Good. Let's do the sides over here. Okay, get that done. That's easy. That done. That's easy. Let's get this little section here done. We've got two wrinkles right there. So hands over top. Pop it up. There we go. Left and right, hands right over the corner. Perfect. Boom. Squeegee it. Okay, not even breaking a sweat yet. And I don't have the AC on, and it's like 25 degrees in here. Yeah. So Celsius, it's like 70, I don't know, high 70s. Okay, so similar idea here. Warm that up. Let it shrink. Again, I don't really have to because it's not a very deep recess, but just a good habit to get into when you're doing stuff like this, when you're wrapping. Okay, it's more or less all changed. Again, let's hammer those guys out right there. And then we're gonna work our way right up to the top. I have to get up these few right up here. There we go. All right, palm in the recess, push firmly. Boom. Okay. And let's squeegee out our air. Now, as long as the end is open over there, the air will squeegee out, okay? So you have to check to make sure that end is open. Sometimes even myself, I have to go like this, just pop that open, and then I'll have to kind of hold it, and then just squeegee with my other hand here. Good. All right, so as I promised on this side, I'll do laying in instead. I actually didn't even need to do this because that didn't make any sense to fix that up. Let's lay the film into the recess instead. Okay, so we'll lift the film up. I totally forgot that I told you that I was going to lay the film in. So this is what laying the film in is. And this is a lot more technical and more complicated, okay? So look what happens when I start to go into the recess, the film begins to bunch. What I need to do here is I need to shrink the film, okay? And again, it's not like that the film is going to shrink because I stretched it. I barely stretched it. It's just because it's polymeric, but it's going to shrink a little bit more. Cast films shrink a little bit less than polymeric do. Okay? So you can see that it's going to start to go smooth. I'm barely pulling it at all, just keeping it elevated, more or less. We want to get rid of these wrinkles here. Don't squeegee it too soon when it's hot, because you'll mar the finish. Okay, look now. Now it's all smooth again, okay? So let's just keep rolling the film down, and look, we're just in the recess. So I'm in the recess, and I have no tension in the recess because I'm keeping the film away from this section over here by keeping it elevated with, in this case, my left hand. Okay, so same thing here. Lay it right into there. Once I've laid into the recess, I've eliminated all tension in the recess. Our goal after that is to then work the rest of the material out. So let's keep things consistent and smooth and fluent over here. Let's keep a nice flow going. Let's pop that up. There we go. And I can probably get this to the edge without even adding any heat. Okay. So I haven't stretched at all in the recess area. And I will have no tension on my edges, even though I just pulled right to the edge. Again, I did this with a cold stretch or room temperature stretch. Cold stretch is dependent on how hot it is in your work environments. Like I said, it's around high 70s in here right now, so 25 degrees Celsius. I think that's around mid to high 70s. Okay, so you're going to see, what I talk about a lot is wrinkles like this at the edge, right there. Okay, this, in my situation, doesn't mean that there's tension there because I know that I didn't heat and stretch. This is just extra material beginning to bunch up. But if you notice this and you heated the film and you stretched to this edge right here, it more than likely has tension at that edge there. And so you need to correct that. And I have videos on how to correct that properly on my website, okay? Let's lift this up, and we're just gonna elevate it, and then we're gonna heat it, and watch, we're gonna let it shrink. This is how to just correct your extra material. And that's just shrinking. Like I'm not even doing anything, it's just sticking to my fingers, see? I didn't even pull it. Okay, so now I have no extra material at the edge, and no tension. It's the same thing with all this right here. This is just extra material bunching up. It is not tension. All right, hood's wrapped. Let's get the hood elevated and let's get the edges done. This is how I like to do the edges. Some people like to cut along the fender side and bumper side and so forth. I like to lift the hood up and do it this way. Okay, let's get this edge up. Okay, I just felt it release on that side. All right, that's good. Let's get this side up. Yeah, you definitely could have clay barred the hood. But there was a ton of glue left behind when I removed that PPF that was on there. All right, so let's grab a small box. 1 second, just to keep things more neutral. Let's grab this one. Meaning trying to keep things in your perspective or in your eye line here. Okay, so I've got a small box right here. Rest it there. Now I'm gonna go around the whole hood. I'm not gonna move the camera with me the entire time because that's gonna get really annoying. Actually, let's go like here, get you more in front. It's more centered, good, okay. And is that tight? Good, okay. So I'm gonna do the whole hood the same way. I'm gonna put my glove on because we're gonna need this. I'm gonna go around every edge, leading with a heat gun first. And look, when I heat, you can see the film, it just drops down. I'm not even doing it, I have not a single wrinkle, nothing at the edge, okay? I didn't do anything here yet. I did not heat. I only stretched cold, remember? So idea here, lead with a heat gun, nice and close. Start from the top, work your way around. You want to do at least 3 passes. I got a little air bubble there on the edge. There we go. Just pop that open. Okay. Do at least 3 passes, and this edge is more or less good. I do like 4 or 5 passes. I always like to be sure, or certain. So let's go right over here on this corner right here. Good. That edge is done. This edge is more or less done over here. Again, keep leading with the heat gun. Just gonna fix up my corner. Perfect. Good. The corners I add a little extra heat to, just to round them off really nicely. So the back section over here. This is the area where I usually start. You'll see in a lot of my other videos, this is the area where I usually start. Good. Let's get the film tucked in. If I lifted the hood higher up right now, I'd be able to have better access to the corner. I don't need to, but it's just the fender is in the way. So I'm just gonna tuck the film underneath in between the fender and the hood. This way I don't have tension at my edge. Now I can do my corner. There. But if I lifted the hood up all the way, it would have been easy. You just never wanna have tension at your edges, okay? Never. This is like the #1 goal when wrapping. So I guess there's 2 #1 goals. No debris or contamination under your wrap. There's the top 3, okay? No debris or contamination, no distortion, stretch marks, and so forth, and no tension at the edges. Those are your 3, okay? Prioritize those in whatever order you like. They're all very important though. Okay, so let's keep going around here. I can even get the camera swiveled over this way so you can see the side of it better. And I'll just come down a bit there. There we go. Cool. So again, all those wrinkles that I had here, they're all gonna go away right now. They're gone. Okay? That's just because the film shrunk. Just keep going along. Film just dropping down, exactly what you want to see. Okay, I'm going to do the same on this corner as I did on that one there. Just get the film in behind the fender, or in between the fender and the hood. This way it doesn't stick to the fender when I'm trying to do the edge. All right, let's just make sure here's good, good there. And now we're ready to do some cutting. So it'll be easier for you to see if I actually lift the hood up for this. So let's go like this. And let's try and get you, can I keep the hood at a level like this? Or will it stay? Try and get you somewhere around here, I think. Okay, let's get the camera back over here. Okay, I think that's a good angle. Oh, there it goes, it's okay. I mean, we can do it like this too. It's maybe better. You'll see more on how I cut once I get to the front, but I'm gonna start around the back. This is where I always start. I usually start with the hood down when I start at the back. And then once I get to the side, like I am right over here, I'll lift the hood up. Okay, I'm keeping tension with my left hand and gliding my knife really nicely along the underside edge. And I try to do these in more or less one swoop when it comes to doing passes like that, long passes. Try and go from like corner to corner sort of thing, just like this. Okay. I'll get out of your way in a second, but my hat will kind of be in your way for a second here. Again, pull the film tightly downwards. Okay. Probably see better there. Okay. The trick is keeping the film tight and gliding your blade on that underside edge. And as you can see, the hood is elevated right now, so you know that there is film wrapped around the underside edge. You can see that. If I put the hood down, I mean, if you can see the edge of the pink with the hood up, you're definitely gonna know that it's covered when the hood is down. So there'll be nothing exposed to the eye. Now, is it enough wrap to last under the edge there? Yes, it is. I've been doing this for years, and I've done it like this for years. And as long as you don't have tension, and this is a true testament to your skill and ability and knowing how much to shrink the film and so forth, because if you can leave just that much material around the edge of the hood and it doesn't ever fail, it means you did a perfect job. Because over time, if you don't pre-shrink those edges and heat them, what will happen is, even if you have no tension, it will pull back. So the fact that I have already heated them and pre-shrunk the film at the edges, it's not gonna pull back. Okay, I didn't do the back section, but in order to save some time here. So we've heated, we did some heating, we cut, and then we heat again. And again, this is for purposes to show you. We're gonna get in nice and close. So I do a lighter pass with the heat gun first, a little bit lighter, and then the second or third pass is gonna be much hotter. You can see that it cleans up the edge. Maybe you can, maybe you can't see. It cleans up that edge, okay? Look, the film is not going anywhere, guys. Heat will show you if the film is going to fail. It'll show you before you cut mainly, so that's when you really want to test it. Because once you cut, you're kind of, you're kind of screwed if you cut and you didn't test it first and you didn't heat, and then it shrinks. Then you have nothing to work with anymore and you can't fix or correct anything. So I've been doing cuts like this. Again, I still do it on every customer's car, even to this day. Just like this, I call this my invisible edge. It's how I like to wrap. You don't have to, you can wrap further in if you want to. Wrapping further in usually means that you're gonna have to be more or less applying your knife to the paint, and I don't like doing that. So, meaning the end of the blade, which is gonna do all the damage, the very tip of the blade. If you have to cut right here, like this, then that's not good. What I did is I glide my blade on the underside just like this, and the blade actually never touches any paint at all. Okay, so here's our beautiful invisible edge. Even down the sides, you can barely see it. It's super nice, okay? This is what I pride myself on stuff like this because it just makes everything look super clean in the end. And that's exactly what we want, right? So, sorry, just get you up there. Can't really see anything at all, right? I'll even get you in closer to this edge over here. There we go. But again, you can see pink. I can see pink coming all the way down underneath that edge, even on the side right here. We can see this. It's rolled underneath entirely. So when I put the hood down, let's put it down. Let me see where the camera's at so you guys can see everything. Okay, so even when I put the hood down, you know that this edge is going to be fully covered all the way. This is at eye level right now. It's still not even down yet, okay? That's at your eye level, which is a little bit higher than mine. So again, no white showing at all. This is how I like to wrap. Let's put the hood all the way down, zoom back out. Let's put the hood all the way down, took the box out, perfect. I just have the back edge to do, but I'm not leaving the wrap on the hood right now, so it doesn't matter too much. Where did I have the camera earlier? Somewhere here, I guess. And I don't know. Okay, no, I had it way out. Okay, so this is it, guys. This is dragon fruit from TinyBot. The link will be in the description below to the product and their website. So if you're interested in picking that up, they also have a lot of other cool materials, and they're working on a bunch of other cool new stuff coming up. I have some inside information about some carbon fiber. So I'm excited to see that. And that's it, full-blown install, talking about, how to do the installation. A lot of it you can do cold. How to avoid or eliminate tension at your edges. Again, super important because you don't want failure. And again, preparation of your surface. This is a prime example. I should have clay barred the surface, which I also didn't mention in the very beginning, is I always clay bar the cars, brand new or not. There's still contamination and debris kicking around from transport and so forth. So I just always clay bar it. And that's if you want the best possible finish. Otherwise, you can get away with wiping it down if you want to. If it's your own car, you're taking the wrap off sooner than later, and you're going to rewrap it again sooner than later, then whatever, I guess. But obviously, smoothness or having a smooth finish is ideal. Having it not fail is ideal. And also having no distortion in the film is also ideal. Actually, what we should also do is get the camera, let's get the camera back so you can get a better view from it further back. And I want to show you more angles on what this looks like. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Now we can start to see a bit more. Okay. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to doing more videos for you in the future. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.